This is a little intro to sines and cosines, or a review of trigonometry. What we have here is the unit circle. It has a radius of 1, and it is centered right in the middle of our coordinate system. And it reaches up to 1 on the x-axis and 1 on the y-axis. So clearly at these points, this point here, we know that the value of on the x-axis is 1, and at this point we know that the y-axis value is 1. But what about points in between on the circle, like right here maybe? We know that the radius is 1, but we're not sure exactly what the y value that corresponds to that point is, or the x value that corresponds to that point. Well, if we call this angle theta, we can call this distance here, this y value, we can call it sine of theta. And the value of the x coordinate here is cosine of theta. So let's make our way counterclockwise around the unit circle. Let's start from right here, this point. So theta would be 0, because our line that we're looking at is kind of like right along the x-axis. So theta is 0. We know then that at this point the y value is 0. So theta is 0, y is 0, and therefore sine theta, or sine 0, equals 0. And the x value at this point, well, it comes all the way out to 1. So when theta equals 0, x equals 1, we can say that cosine of 0 is 1. Now let's come up to a 30-degree angle. We can see that we gained a lot of value in our y coordinate, but we didn't lose a whole lot in our x coordinate. Fun fact, we've come halfway up to our maximum y value of 1. So sine of 30 equals 1/2. And the x value didn't lower a whole lot from that value of 1. And the fun fact, it's 0.866. Alright, we keep going counterclockwise. Let's make theta 60 degrees. At this point we can see that our y value is nearly 1. And in this case, sine 60 is the 0.866, nearly 1, and the cosine of 60 is 1/2. Because the x value here is halfway to the value of 1. Moving on to a 90-degree angle. At this point where the value of the angle is 90 degrees, we've reached our top value for y. So sine of theta is going to be the highest when theta is 90 degrees, and that's the full maximum value that cosine or sine can have, which is 1. And at this point, we have gone absolutely nowhere on the x-axis, so the cosine of 90 is 0. So we've seen from our trip counterclockwise around the unit circle that the value of cosine is a maximum, equal to 1 when the angle is 0, and the sine is at a minimum when the angle is 0. And then you get to the top here where the angle of 90 degrees, where the sine is the highest and the cosine is 0.
Made with Doodlecast Pro.